We are tracking a lot of cold air out there this morning, and snow chances are coming at us. Winter weather advisory has been issued. We'll track it for you.
And also here at 4:30 on WKYT this morning, a tragic discovery in southern Kentucky. Investigators think the cold played a major role in the death of an elderly woman whose body was found near an assisted living facility.
And we tagged along with first responders in Lexington to see how they battle the cold while answering calls around the city.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome in. It is your Tuesday. Obviously, a lot of talk about this cold weather today. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's get the latest right now with Jim Caldwell, who's in today for Micah.
And it's already plenty cold out there, but here's something positive. It's not as cold as it was yesterday morning, but it's awfully close. We're at 11 degrees right now in Lexington. A lot of single digits showing up to our south and to our east. That's where you're going to find pockets of 8, 9, and even a 5-degree temperature right now showing up in Monticello. So the cold air is out there. You factor in the winds, and it feels a whole lot worse. Single digits for us here in Lexington, and there ain't a whole lot of wind out there, but there is at least enough to cause it to budge that much. Feels like 9 below zero in Monticello. That's a big issue in many areas this morning. That and a little bit of snow showing up on our Defender radar network. Very light in nature, but it's certainly out there causing some slick spots. Even had to dust off the car before I came in this morning. Winter weather advisory kicks in tomorrow morning right around this time as we are facing our first potential widespread accumulating snow. And I'm talking 2, maybe up to 4 inches across a big swath of the area. Now, when I come back, I will break down the totals and give you that hour-by-hour forecast and show you exactly what's coming at us with this one and then the one for later on this week. It is an action-packed forecast, guys.
Okay, sounds like a 1-2 punch. Thank you very much, Jim. The cold weather turned tragic in southern Kentucky this morning. The Laurel County coroner says a 95-year-old woman died from being out in the cold for too long.
The coroner says the woman walked away from the Laurel Village assisted living community in London. She was later found dead outside a nearby home. Garrett Weimer has the latest on the investigation.
It was the kind of cold that doesn't take long to hurt.
It was needles, pins and needles. The cold weather was very cold.
The coroner says it was that cold that killed 95-year-old Dorothy McKnight. He says McKnight was found dead around 9 a.m., only about 100 yards away from the assisted living community where she lived.
Looked out the door and saw policemen and cruisers down the sidewalk, and their lights were on, and we wondered what was going on. We didn't know what happened.
Neighbors told me it's really not that common for them to see folks who live at Laurel Village walking down the sidewalk near their homes here on Mill Street. But they say this time they wish they knew someone was. Investigators say it appears McKnight died of exposure to the cold after falling off of someone's porch. Later, we knocked on the door of that house, but folks inside did not have anything to say. Neighbors, though, told us they wish they could have done something, anything, to save her.
I just hope she didn't feel any pain when she died, that's all.
In London, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Well, the coroner says McKnight was not dressed for the cold weather. Police say they think she had Alzheimer's. Well, most people in the community are stepping up to help those who do not have a home. Some women have left scarves for the homeless in Lexington's Phoenix Park. They say anyone who needs one should take it. Doctors at UK Hospital say programs like this can save lives because it's important to cover as much as your body as possible when it's so cold outside.
If you have any exposed skin that's not covered by a hat or a scarf or gloves, you're not only going to be at risk for hypothermia, but you can get frostbite, and you can even get frozen to the point that you lose fingers or toes.
At last check, doctors said they have not seen any patients in the UK hospital emergency room for weather-related illness.
It's dangerous for anyone to be out in the cold for very long. It can be worse for people who have to work outside and have no choice. Any moment of the day, firefighters could be called out to a scene, oftentimes spending several hours outside. Our Monique Blair rode along with firefighters and paramedics to see how they handle the bitterly cold temperatures.
We were only at fire station number 1 a few minutes before they got the call. The call was for a busted pipe.
Any exposed pipes, any exposed to these cold temperatures for a given amount of time, that static water can freeze.
Battalion Chief Jeff Nance says the calls they get this time of year in these types of temperatures don't really change from the calls they respond to, say, in the summer.
The difference for us in this kind of weather, with a subject down or a missing person, it becomes more urgent for us because of the temperature.
But this icy air doesn't only affect the people these firefighters are helping.
We're not truly superheroes, so the weather impacts us just like it does anybody else.
The gear firefighters wear provides thermal protection from the heat of the fire, but it doesn't provide much insulation. And on top of that, once there's a fire, that means there's also water.
So then when you put it out, you've turned all that water into steam. It's come back on you. It suddenly starts getting cold in there. It's cold outside. Now you're wet, you're cold.
So although they may not be actual superheroes,
both extremes, really cold and really hot, have a drastic impact on what we do.
they are still saving lives every day, sometimes in very difficult conditions.
And the Lexington Fire Department also has a warming unit that is brought out to working fires where crews can use it and go inside and at least get a little bit warmer. There are already more than 30 delays and cancellations for today. You can find them on our website right now at WKYT.com. We also have them scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Again, you see a lot of them are delays. Stay on top of winter weather and traffic with WKYT's Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
While services were going on at 3 Whitley County churches, burglars decided to break into cars in the parking lot. Surveillance video from Goldbug Baptist Church shows a man in a blue minivan pulling up to a car, then smashing the driver's side window. Police say cars were also broken into at Main Street Baptist and Free Will Baptist.
Church is one place you can go, kind of refuge, you know, you can be at peace, but it's not that way anymore.
The Whitley County Sheriff's Office says some purses and cell phones were stolen from the cars. So far, deputies have not made any arrests in the case.
Police say a dog survived after someone put him in the trash compactor of a Louisville apartment complex. Police say when a maintenance worker tried to use the compactor over the weekend, it jammed. When he looked inside it, he found the dog and an empty cage. Louisville police say the dog was hungry, but otherwise is okay, and he is now with Animal Services. Police say the dog does not have a microchip nor any kind of identification, so they're trying to figure out who owns the animal. Some Richmond police officers want to honor one of their own in our nation's capital, but they need help to make it happen. Richmond police officer Daniel Ellis was killed in the line of duty back in November. His name will be added to the National Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C. in May. Richmond police want to send some of the officers there to the ceremony. The Madison County Fraternal Order of Police and Richmond Police will host a pancake breakfast the morning of February 27th at First Baptist Church on the bypass. The money raised will be used for the trip. Our time this morning is 4:38 now. Here on your Tuesday, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started.
So have you ever wondered what fruit do most kids want to eat? Moms Every Day has the answer after the break.
And we are going to be tracking, of course, the Arctic air out there this morning, but snow chances are coming at us for Wednesday, and then another to follow it up toward the end of the week. We'll have all of it in just a couple of minutes. And our first alert severe weather day continues to roll right on. Reason this morning, tracking the snow. Tomorrow, it will continue as well as we are tracking a big-time system sweeping into the area. Right now, it's 11 degrees here in Lexington, 10, Danville, Richmond, Mount Sterling, Moorhead. A lot of cold air hanging out with us. And when you factor in the winds, in most cases out there, it does have an impact. Feels like 1 degree outside in Lexington, and then you got some negative numbers thrown into the mix as well. So certainly a very chilled, super chilled almost, air mass hanging out with us here this morning. Had to take the radar down in sensitivity in order to pick up these snow showers because they are so extremely light and hanging out in the atmosphere. But they're out there, and you can see them working their way through eastern Kentucky, and you're going to notice a lot more delays and cancellations coming in from this area because they've been dealing with this snow for a little while longer. That and the fact they got more over the weekend, over the past couple of days, they've had a little more active pattern. But there you see, breaking out along the Mountain Parkway and then all the way down into the higher elevated spots, still holding on to some snow this morning. Our winter weather advisory, it's not issued for that. Oh, no, no, no. It's for the next system that comes at us late tonight and through the day tomorrow. Winter weather advisory highlighted for most of central and eastern Kentucky. There's a little spot right here because it's issued from a different National Weather Service office that comes out of Charleston. They didn't include those counties in there, but they will certainly get in on some accumulating snow. Not as much in that area this go around, but certainly some. Daytime highs today are actually up compared to yesterday. We find ourselves in the low 20s today, which is an improvement. You got to take it one step at a time. And today we're into the low 20s. We go hour by hour through the rest of the evening, overnight, and into the early morning hours. Clouds are starting to thicken up, and our temperatures basically stop as the snow starts to roll in here early tomorrow morning. You can see snow breaking out across central Kentucky, the first little streak of it at least showing up there. Notice where some of this blue is showing up. In blue, when we use this model, is showing you the areas of the heavier snow bands. They're showing up across parts of south central Kentucky, out toward Bowling Green, and then right into southern Kentucky as well, with those blue shadings. Now, again, that indicates that we're running into some heavier bands of snow. They continue into the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures are up, by the way, closer to the freezing mark, with a little surge in warmer air coming into play with that. That's our first system that is exiting the area here as we go into early Thursday. Temperatures on Thursday, again, recover. Notice this, got more moisture streaming in. Starts out perhaps as a little bit of a wintry mix and rain, and then by the time it's all said and done, it will change over to snow. But for this first go around with this Wednesday system here in Lexington, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches expected. So that's right in the advisory. A little bit higher perhaps to our south, where we could see 3 to 6 inches with this Wednesday system. I keep putting emphasis on that Wednesday system because our next one that comes through here, starting late Thursday, going into Friday, it has, and blasting into Saturday, it has more potential for more inches of snow getting thrown into the area. So let's take it one system at a time, though. First one, 1 to 3 here in Lexington and for most of central Kentucky.
Yeah, it's probably best we do that, don't we?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be too much if we consider it all together, guys. So we'll keep that.
Yeah, it's a long little winter pattern.
Loaded, yeah.
4:45 now is the time, and most children don't get the recommended amount of fruit each day.
In today's Mom's Everyday Minute, why you should make sure apples are always available.
A fresh, crisp apple is a delicious and satisfying snack, and kids agree. A recent study in the journal Pediatrics examined how much fruit kids eat, and of the 3,000 studied, the majority chose apples as their favorite fruit by far. Apples are a wonderful addition to any diet. They're rich in fiber and vitamin C and have been found to have cardiovascular and respiratory benefits. Previous research has indicated that only 40% of children eat the amount of recommended fruit per day, which is 1 to 2 cups, depending on their age. Encourage your kids to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. And remember, it's okay to add canned and frozen produce to supplement your fresh produce. For more ways to make mom's life easier, visit momseveryday.com.
For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com. Click on Moms Every Day.
And of course, right there, we're also keeping you updated on weather and these delays and closings that we have coming in for you this morning as well. Coming up on 4:47 on WKYT.
And coming up, we've got the latest on the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. The governor there prepares to deliver his State of the State speech later today. Welcome back. It's 4:49 this morning. Well, Michigan's Governor Rick Snyder delivers his State of the State address today amid growing anger over the state's response to Flint's water contamination crisis.
There's a lot of tension up there over this. In 2014, Flint's water supply was tainted with lead after a state-appointed emergency manager switched the city's water source from Detroit to the Flint River to save money. Don Champion has the latest on the protests and the calls now for the governor's resignation.
The Flint water crisis will dominate Michigan Governor Rick Snyder's State of the State address today. Monday, while the Republican governor called the city's contaminated water a disaster, dozens demonstrated outside his home calling for his resignation. Many called his slow response to Flint's water supply contaminated with lead criminal.
He should have switched it back over to Detroit Water as soon as he knew of the contamination.
National Guard troops are now handing out bottled water to residents.
605 is all set.
State troopers are also giving out lead tests and filters.
What happens after the water and filter is gone? We're still going to have the lead, we're still going to have the pipes, we're still going to have the poison.
Governor Snyder says he plans to request once again that President Obama declare Flint a federal disaster area instead of just a state of emergency.
State of emergency only gives us a $5 million cap. If they would have submitted for a disaster declaration, we could have got the $96 million or more.
The president already denied the request once before, citing the situation in Flint was man-made. Don Champion, CBS News.
Flint has gone back to its original water source, and today the city's mayor there, Karen Weaver, is traveling to Washington in hopes of securing a disaster declaration. Meantime, attorneys representing Flint residents are planning to announce 2 new class action lawsuits targeting Governor Snyder. The search continues this morning for a missing toddler in a wooded area of Tennessee. Hundreds have been out searching for the 2-year-old Noah Chamberlain. He has been missing since Thursday, when authorities say he vanished during a hiking trip with his grandmother and sister. Searchers have spent the last few days combing the area where Noah was last seen. So far, police say they do not believe foul play is involved.
Calls to boycott the Oscars next month are gaining momentum. Director Spike Lee and actress Jada Pinkett Smith have both announced publicly they will not be attending or watching this year's event. Their announcements came after this year's nominations were announced, and for the second consecutive year, the Academy failed to nominate a single performance by a black actor.
Time this morning is 4:52, 8 minutes before 5 on WKYT. In a moment, a look at some of the stories that we're working on for you this morning.
Also have another look at your morning forecast.
4:55 is the time, bright and early on your Tuesday.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
It is another very cold morning out there, freezing temperatures that have dozens of Kentucky schools either closed or delayed this morning. And coming up on WKYT News at 5, we'll take a look at those cold temperatures and what to expect as you plan your day ahead.
A proposed needle exchange program could get its final approval from the city of Nicholasville today. Last week, the city commission voted in favor of the resolution. The public health director hopes the city can receive funding through the heroin bill for the program. Nicholasville would be the 4th in this state to adopt a syringe exchange. And let's get a look right now at weather and that extreme cold that we're experiencing.
Yeah, here's Jim. He's been working on that and trying to get a fix on tomorrow as well, huh?
Yeah, getting a fix on tomorrow is going to be the difficult thing. That and then a system that will follow it in. But right now, what we're experiencing, cold. I mean, the Arctic air has settled into the area. You're seeing all kinds of single digits showing up. Somerset, Monticello, Middlesboro, Harlan, Covington, out toward Ashland. And then we got a pocket where we're right at 10, 11 degrees. So we're right there on the threshold of going into those single digits. Now, a little bit of a breeze has been pretty constant out there. And when you factor it in, it makes it feel anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees colder than what it actually is right now. That's where we're running into some of those negative wind chill readings. We're also tracking this, a winter weather advisory that officially kicks in tomorrow morning, but we're getting the word out on it early because it's going to be somewhat of a big deal when it gets here, because it's going to be a solid chance at widespread accumulation. And I'm not talking about just a little bit. I'm talking about a couple of inches in many cases, maybe up to 6 inches for some areas out there. Not in central Kentucky, but at least close enough. Our Defender Radar Network tracking just a little bit of snow, very light, across parts of eastern Kentucky, and we've been tracking some flakes here in central Kentucky as well. So that's been causing a little bit of concerns out there this morning along with the cold. We appreciate you being along with us here on WKYT. We'll continue to track all of this weather and a lot more news coming up for you.